You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Vigilantes Radio. I'm your host, dini-mussolini, and we have a very special guest, so you definitely don't want to stick around for that. So you do want to stick around for that. My apologies. As a matter of fact, I have a little throat injury, so that's the reason I sound like this. But anyhow, the show must go on, right? So just because you've been wronged is no reason to do the wrong thing. In fact, it is all the more reason to do the right thing. Just because there's someone to blame for your troubles does not mean that you can end your troubles by hurting that other person. No matter who is to blame for your problems, you are responsible for them. Revenge may be entirely justified, but it will rarely solve the problem. Just as time does not proceed backwards, you cannot right a wrong by committing another wrong. Though punishment is often an appropriate and positive step, it cannot undo what has already been done. The energy you put into blaming others for your problems take away from the energy you have available to effectively address those problems. Don't let the desires to assign blame distract you from making things right. You cannot move backwards, so put your energy into moving forward. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music or Inside the Book. Inside the business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family, and 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens, or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com, and that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired.
Falling hard in my head when I look around. I want to cry. Is it true what you said? There's no reason now to live or die. It's the heartbreak of goodbye. There's no reason now to live or die. It's the heartbreak of goodbye.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. That was Heartbreak of a Goodbye. The Heartbreak of Goodbye by Daniel-Angelus, who's our special guest for today's episode. If you didn't know, yeah. So Again, welcome to the show. It never ceases to amaze me of the amount of talent on this beautiful planet. We are the people who have dedicated their weekdays and nights to books, films, news, business ventures, and just talk in general. From our incredible writing and promotion on our new Facebook page, which you can find over at Vigilantes Radio. So visit us and make sure you slap that like button to our interview and music show, which is what you're listening to now, Vigilantes Radio, or our podcast that where we talk about spiritual and intuitive talk on a show we have called Skeptics of the Handshake. We spend each and every day giving our maximum effort to create a exciting indie and professional community for all creative minds that coexist in this beautiful artistic world. Again, guys, our special guest today is Daniel-Angelus. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the show. How's it going?
That's good, Dini. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Besides the throat injury, managing as much as I can. Yeah.
You're doing good. You're doing good. I think it's great that you're pushing on through. To be honest, that commitment right there, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So, how about you, man? When it comes to studio performances and live shows, and you kind of gain an injury somewhere along the way, how do you push through?
Honestly, I kind of let the emotion take over and just hope that it's enough, and the adrenaline. I've been in a few situations where the songs I've written are quite challenging, and I think to myself, right, I hope I can pull this off live, and maybe we haven't got the set list right, so we've put the hardest vocal challenge at the end of the set, and after a long set, my vocals are tired and I get vocal fry. Yeah. So then maybe I have to adapt to that and just sing the song a little differently. That's kind of one of the ways. Or I just go for it and hope that the adrenaline is enough to pull it off. Usually is. I'm very lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, push on through.
Cool deal, man. Glad to hear that. What has been like your most challenging performance that you can remember to this date?
That's a really good question. I did an outdoor festival in the UK about 8-9 years ago now, and we got it was in a field, so it was like a proper muddy field, and there was lots of people there, and they set up a really big stage, and we went up there and realized that they didn't have the right sound equipment at all for what I was bringing to the show, which was some loops, synths, and bits and bobs like that, and some vocal pedals. So what we had to do is kind of just run everything through microphones. So basically I set up my synths and my keyboards, and I just had microphones on the speakers, hoping that it would pick it up. Everything was running into microphones, so there was lots of feedback. It was a really big challenge, and I thought, oh, this is going to sound terrible. This is a terrible show, and I want to give everyone 110%. Some of these people have never heard of me before out there. This is their first sort of opportunity to hear my music, and it's going to be embarrassing. But actually, somehow, it was really good. I don't know how it was even possible, but I got so many people coming to me after the show wanting to find out more, said it was a really great set, and I was really shocked by that. But for me, the dread that I felt going on stage, knowing that whole set, the sound was being fed through one device with a microphone over the speaker, was just horrendous. But the show, like I said, they said to me, you can't do your set, and I said, I've come to do a set, I'm doing a set. That's why they ran everything through microphones for me. So I was grateful for that, and ironically, it paid off because people really enjoyed the performance. So, yeah, kind of a nightmare, but it kind of turned out really good, Yeah,
cool deal, man. So tell us a story here, man. We love stories. I want to know about your progression through learning your craft, and we also want to know more about your life story and that aspect of music as well. Like, how did it all get to where you are today?
I had a very difficult upbringing. My upbringing at home was horrendous. I was severely mistreated, beaten, hit a lot by a father who was a multitude of horrendous things. He was a racist, just a vile kind of. He was my father, but he was a vile human being who did not understand or had the capacity to show love more than violence and aggression and judgment and prejudice. And I was not that kind of a child. I was a child who always tried to see the good in people, tried to see the best in people, and didn't understand how someone's race or background could define who they are or make them worse off than anyone else. Like, I really struggled with that. And when I was 14, my father passed away due to a medical reason, and he died in the hospital. And there was this sort of, there was this kind of wealth of emotion involved in that. There was this emotion of, okay, I've got a bit of freedom here. I feel like I could breathe. I wasn't going to be, hit, beaten, chased, called all nasty names by him, told what to do throughout my whole entire life, despite not wanting to do the things he wanted to do. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a performer. He hated that. He thought I should be a mechanic or a plumber or join the army. He wanted me to be what he defined as a man's man. And I just didn't see things that way. I saw things differently. When he passed away, I was struggling to cope, with the kind of the void in my life and the fact that I was just a kid whose home was kind of just still really unruly, and it was really difficult. So I started writing poems to cope, and the poems would be aimed at everything that would happen. So say I had a falling out with a member of my family, that day I would go up to my bedroom and write about it, write poems. And sometimes they weren't the nicest of poems. Sometimes it's like, essentially, I would sometimes write things in my poems about how much I kind of like, oh, I fucking hate how you just treated me. I fucking hate what you've done, and things like that. And I'd put quite a lot of language and frustration and anger into my poems. But then other times I'd be writing about how I wish things were different, things could be put different ways. And then what I did is I went to a shop and purchased a keyboard. I taught myself to play the piano on the keyboard. I just kind of started putting together piano and started trying to sing these songs. And my voice wasn't very good at all. It was, I was a teenager, and it was pretty rough starting out. But I carried on doing that in my bedroom. I started crafting songs. And then I started contacting producers in the local area where I lived, and there was two in particular, one called Christopher and one called David. And I started just recording these things I'd done in my bedroom, putting them onto records. And then at the time there was a website called MySpace, which is a bit of a throwback, but MySpace allowed me to upload my music and for people around the world to hear it, and it gained quite a bit of traction. And these songs I'd written were kind of melancholic electro pop songs, but the lyrics were literally those poems I wrote. So they were strong, very emotional, and people people really picked up on that, and they liked that. But I never really formally released anything. We'd always put little things out and then take them down, because I was never sort of satisfied with the final result. I didn't feel I was in a space in my head where I was able to release music, do music as a career. But I did do a lot of live shows. I started out doing live shows. I remember one of my first live shows, I started smashing things up on the stage and breaking cymbals and all kinds of things. And then my shows they kind of mellowed out a lot as I grew up. They mellowed out a lot more. And although I'm very emotional on stage, I don't go around breaking things and kind of exhibiting that anger. And I think the music became almost like a form of therapy, like a therapeutic practice that helped me to be able to convey what I've been through, what I feel, what I experience in my mind and in my heart. And in 2016, I kind of got serious with it. I was like, right, I'm going to just kind of put a record out, which was called Miracle Dark. Miracle Dark was just about my anxiety, and my struggles. And there was a few stories on there as well, from friends and family and things like that. So I didn't really promote that. I definitely didn't perform it live. I just did like a YouTube thing for it, like a YouTube video where I do a few songs off it. But I had no interest in touring that. It was just a way of putting something out. And then in 2018, I wrote a concept album called Wired for Heartbreak, which is what the song at the start of the show, The Heartbreaker Goodbye, that's from the Wired for Heartbreak album. And Wired for Heartbreak is a story about a husband and wife who have a child, and the husband is an astronaut, and he takes a once-in-a-lifetime mission to go to a new planet, and he thinks he's coming back, but then he finds out he's not coming home. And the album kind of floats backwards and forwards between the wife and her emotions and her feelings, and the astronaut, the husband, and the music videos are themed around that as well. And there's some powerful stuff going on there, and the album kind of chronicles their communication, flashbacks, their memories, their experiences from when they were young, when they first met, up until the point where he sends his final video, like voice log, and says, "This is the end." So, and it's very cinematic. I want it to be very cinematic, very big, very grand, very rousing, very emotional, very honest. And I put a lot of my own anxieties, a lot of my own emotion into the writing of that record and the music. And then, I guess to continue and finish the journey, in 2019 I had an idea to create, just instead of releasing albums with names and concepts, I decided to create a project called The Acts. And the acts are basically just a series of EPs or full albums, which I'm going to release whenever I want to, whenever I feel it's right. They'll all be concept albums with different sound, different genres, and they'll all be based on experiences in my life and very emotive story writing. So I released Act 1 in April of 2019. And I'm going to give you a bit of an exclusive here, really, because nobody knows this yet. But Act 2 is going to be coming out later this year, and I can confirm it has 9 tracks on it, as opposed to the 4 tracks on Act 1. The album is finished. We have finished production on the album. We're currently shooting music videos, films, short films, and doing all kinds of incredible creative photo shoots and ideas for this record, so that we have content coming out on YouTube for it. I don't have a release date yet, but it's definitely coming later this year.
Cool deal. So Daniel, man, what are your thoughts on social media being a part of the new age music industry?
I struggle with it.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter, dude. I'm on Twitter, but I don't. I find myself liking things, reading things that I like, and liking it. I don't post very often. I'm on Facebook as well, but again, I'm just not. I struggle with it. Like, we're very careful. Like on YouTube, we don't allow comments on my music videos because we don't want the dialogue to turn into. We want people just to enjoy the art and watch the art and embrace the art. We don't want people to then fill that space with negativity, because I was born from negativity. My childhood was negativity. I don't want the art to be drowned in other people's negativity. I'd rather they take that into a personal context. So we have a rule about that, which is if there's conversation about the music, it should be done face to face, not through anonymous comments online. We'd prefer it if people talk about the music in a more emotional and human context than just, some people don't like my music and they'd love to let me know about that, and that's okay. You can do that. There are ways to do that. I've got social media, but I don't see the point in telling me that. Telling me my music's crap on social media doesn't make a difference to me, because I think my music's brilliant because of where it comes from. And a lot of people also do use social media to tell me how much they love my music, and that is the positive, I guess. It's a vehicle, and I think people who have social media accounts get to determine how they drive that vehicle and how they use it. And you can use it to run over a lot of people and be nasty and mean, or you can use it to pick people up, give them a ride and be nice to them and tell them how great they are and drop them off at their stop. And the way I see it is, my music, we use social media to allow people to discover the music. And for me, it's sort of used as an advertising thing, really, more than anything. It's tricky because I don't like the modern world too much. I don't like the advances we've made, I think we've moved too quickly. And I've seen it since I was a kid. I've seen such a strong shift in people's attitudes. Since we have 24-hour news now, everyone's full of fear all the time and scared of all kinds of manner of things going on. And it creates unique behaviors and situations. But I'm all for social media if it can be used to do great things in the world and bring people together in the most positive way. But I'm against social media when it's used as a way to just be downright nasty, mean, spirited to people. I don't have time for that kind of energy. Why would anyone want to live in a world where they're just projecting hatred all the time? It's, what a thing to do with your life. So that's a struggle I face with social media mostly. I use it to tell people about the music, and I try to spread positivity on it. But it's easy to get pulled in. I deleted a bunch of tweets the other day because I realized I was just tweeting on random stuff about sports. I was like, why am I even doing that? Like, no one cares. I'm going to delete all these tweets and just focus on why I'm actually here on social media, which is, hi, I made a record. I hope you really like it. Please listen to it. And, if you like it, that's amazing, So,
that's definitely,
yeah.
All right. So do you ever perform cover songs?
I do. That's funny. I've always liked to do my own interpretation of songs that I think are emotive. So I like it when I can listen to a song and recognize when it's really emotional, when someone put a lot of personal effort and energy and emotion into it. And I'm attracted to songs like that. I love songs like that. Maybe it's because I write like that too and I perform like that, but I like it when it's really raw. So I've done a few covers. I actually have a SoundCloud. This is weird. I was shouting out my SoundCloud. What's that about? I have a SoundCloud, which I think is soundcloud.com/daniel-angelus. But I've on there. I think I have a cover by Sinead O'Connor called "Nothing Compares to You," which I think is an incredible song, and I just wanted to have a go at that. And I did a cover of a band from America. They had a song as well on there, so I've put that on there. And then I guess I'm giving you another sort of thing here. I've got a cover on Act 2 as well, and it's a song by U2. So I won't say what song it is just yet, but yeah, it's finished and it sounds really wonderful. So we've done a cover by U2. And then earlier this year, we did a cover of Take On Me by a-ha, which wasn't an emotional song at all. It was just us like, hey, let's do this song and this little video because we wanted to. Like it was a weird thing. I think we wanted to find a transition between Act 1 and Act 2, and Take On Me by a-ha, doing it our kind of dark way, just kind of really seemed to fit that. Yeah.
Okay, most definitely. All right. So now looking back at your career from the very beginning as an artist, do you feel like you have ever rushed yourself too quickly?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think early on when I started out, because I was so young and I was really emotionally not very well developed emotionally. So I may have had the skills and the talent that people were telling me I had when I was much younger. I'm 32 now, but when I started out, I was 16. And I was getting given big shows. I was doing warm-up slots for people who had #1 hits in England, and it was great experience to me. It helped me mature loads in a musical sense, but it also made me feel this pressure where I needed to constantly churn out music, otherwise people would lose interest in me. And every demo I ever wrote, I'd suddenly try to release it on iTunes or, and it was pretty crap music. Like when I look back at it, it wasn't that good. It wasn't very well produced. We didn't have that much money, so we were recording in like hallways with a microphone and some very basic setup on a cheap laptop, so the sound wasn't good. And I guess I didn't really I wish I took my time with that. We had to remove a lot of that stuff from the stores, and I took a long break to kind of practice what would sound good, work a lot with people like David Emery, who's a great producer in England, I do almost all my work with him now, and he helps me make my songs sound the way that I envision them in my head. But when I was younger, I didn't do that. I just had to drop that thing out there so quick, and I think it probably harmed me a little bit in the long run, because if you heard me then, you wouldn't think I was that good. But if you compared it to the way my music sounds now, how it's very different. So I probably shot myself in the foot by rushing a lot of that material out. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever consider attempting those records again?
We already have Act 2.
Oh, cool.
Act 2, it comes out later this year, has I think three. So 2 songs on it that were written many years ago and recorded, and we've completely re-recorded them from scratch. Every instrument, every sound, everything on them redone. And then there are 2 other songs which feature lyrics from years ago, but I've completely rewritten the songs. So the songs sound very different musically, but lyrically I've actually used. So essentially, out of the 9 songs that are going to be on Act 2, 4 of them feature lyrics from 2013 and even earlier, because we keep everything in files that I've ever recorded. And I went back and I was listening to this stuff, and I was like, I'm creating a concept album here. I don't want to spoil the sound. I'm trying not to say too much about Act 2, just enough to make people go, ooh. But it's got a lot of lyrics that we used years ago, and a lot of new lyrics as well, which also fit the concept really well. So yeah, like going back and listening to that stuff and redoing it is something that we have always been aware we could do. And on this record, it's really great, because it's the first time I've actually done it, and they sound amazing. It's actually really nice knowing that I got a second chance at that I'm lucky. I feel very lucky and humbled to have the ability to re-record these songs that I absolutely love, that I wrote, but make them sound great. Whereas before, the production was pretty bad. You could hear cars going by in the background and all sorts. So So yeah.
All right. So personally, what is it inside of you that drives you to work so hard at this?
It's purpose, a sense of purpose. Naturally, I'm not a very confident person, and I've realized as I get older just how little confidence that I have. And what builds my confidence is that I'm really good at certain things. And so by engaging in those things that I'm good at, I can build my confidence and find joy and happiness. And it also gives me the courage to try new things and push myself. And music, for me, I feel like it gives me such a great purpose. I find it amazing that out there in the world there's so many people who have had an opportunity to hear my music and connect with it, and it resonates with people in different ways. And for me, it spurs me on. With every new record I create, I'm like, right, I've got to make this really good for me, but also I want someone out there in the world to hear that song and for it to connect with them. And it doesn't have to connect in the way that I want it to land, because I feel like the relationship that we have with a song is personal. So when I put my music out there, I recognize I'm letting go of my vision. I'm going to share my vision, but people who are going to hear it are going to have their own vision, and that excites me and interests me. So I keep creating, but I don't release anything until I'm really satisfied with it. Like I feel like it passes this sort of test in my head that this is going to land with people. They're going to find it enjoyable, emotional, genuine. And that's what spurs me on, really. That and anything I go through in my private life, the first thing I do is grab my book and write about it. So I guess I'm still using this. I go to counseling, but I guess I'm still using the same coping techniques. I grab the book, I write, and then when I'm ready, I create the song around it. Yeah.
Cool deal, man. And of all the things that you've experienced along this journey and building, your brand, building Daniel-Angelus up, what is the toughest decision you feel you had to make along the way?
I've made some tough ones. One of the hardest decisions was like going and doing concerts when my child was young. I used to do quite a lot of shows, and when my child was born, I knew I needed to keep doing those shows, but I always felt really anxious when I was away from him. So that was a hard decision. I don't like being away from people I love when I'm performing. Another major decision was, last year I was meant to be doing quite a lot of shows, and some of these shows were international, and I literally got on the aeroplane to go and do those shows, and then I realized I can't go on this flight. I need to go home. I don't feel right. So I got off the flight and went back home, and that was a really big decision for me as well. Like that was it felt like the right thing to do, but it was a big decision. People were coming out to see me perform at these shows. We'd paid so much for flights and hotels and planning, and I just pulled the plug right on the aeroplane, and I said, please open the door and let me off the plane, and they thankfully did. Otherwise I probably would have had a panic attack. And that's a very real world issue. It's a real thing to go through. I guess I'm a guy that has anxiety, and I realized I need to make a strong and a difficult decision here. I need to go home and get right, kind of figure out my health, my mental health. So I did that, and I've been getting a lot better. So I think we're going to be doing more shows again this year now. But yeah, these things kind of creep up on you, and while you're so busy doing the music, you don't really think about other aspects. And when they all come together and clash, you're like, oh damn, I need to do something about this, or I'll never sing ever again. So those are the toughest decisions I've had in recent memory. Yeah.
All right. And that's a good point. And also, forks in the road can be, extremely hard on the psyche over time. And I'm not so convinced that stuff always heal as they say it does, in time. Is there anything in particular you wish you had gone after or done differently throughout the process of building your brand? Or is it journey itself, the pitfalls, the triumphs, all a part of it for you? I think because we're a good team here, but we're a small team. We always have been. I don't let too many people into the team, because the way that I do my work is a very emotional process, and it's very personal. And unless you understand what I'm asking for and how to help me create it, it will be tasking and hard on you to get the job done. So I find I think that one of the hardest parts of what we do is trying really hard to convey the emotion in the art form, which is the music, and we've succeeded at that so far. When we send this out to the press, we sit very patiently and wait for the reviews to come back in, and we're very nervous because we're like, are they going to get it or not? And so far we've kind of got 10 out of 10 on that. We've always released a record, and the press have always realized and sent back to us the kind of feedback we were hoping to hear, which is, that our records are emotional, they're powerful. I think one of my greatest fears is that I wasn't able to, I'm not able to be genuine or convey that across genuinely enough. And in the process, I think there's always regrets along the way. So you deal with dodgy people in music. There are people in music who are out for themselves and not out for you. So we've done deals with companies in certain countries like Germany who have promised us great things, like, oh, we're going to feature you on this company's big thing, and et cetera, and they didn't. They took the money that we offered them to help us get the records out there, because you got to pay for advertising. Our YouTube music videos don't get 80,000 views for nothing. It's advertising, and that money comes from our sales and our hard work, and what we do. So we put the money out there. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. You could put out a few $100s to do some advertising and it not land.
at all in any way whatsoever. And they're the biggest regrets I have, because then I sit and I think, this money could have gone to another resource instead, another advertising resource or another opportunity where we were able to talk about the music and share it with people across the world. Because music artists, our greatest currency is PR. We really need to get the word out that we're here and we're doing what we're doing. And if it's for you, if you like what you hear, there's more of it to come and you can enjoy that. And I've always believed that, it's a struggle being a small artist, trying really hard to get your music out there. But in a digital world, it's harder than ever, because there's hundreds of thousands of music artists all sort of vying for that same space, that same slot in the magazine, that same front page, that same spot on a radio show. And we realized and recognized we got to work hard and be very careful with our money. So in the early days, we threw our money at anything and got very little results. And that was a big mistake we made, and that was a big regret we made. What we've learned is who's good. We blacklist a lot of people who take the money but don't really offer much in return. And we're really good at kind of spending our money smartly now, not just being silly and foolish with it. We're spending it on the right things so that people can discover our music, we can make good videos and kind of help our vision get across, because none of this is possible without money. You can't make a record, release it, do music videos, photo shoots, and all the whole PR cycle after the release. You can't do that without money, and how you spend that is really critical. Yeah. So the business side of it, I think the business side of it is the biggest regrets I've had. I've never really had major regrets on the music side of it, really. Not big ones,
That's right. So when does Act 2 drop?
I can't say specifically.
Oh,
I can't
secret.
Because we've got do you know what it is? When I found out I was coming on the podcast, I had a meeting last night, and I said, right, what can we share with this great podcast? I like your podcast. There's quite a few episodes on Spotify, and I was like, this is brilliant. What can we share with them? Hey, no problem. Thank you for having me on, by the way. I really appreciate it. But what can we share with them? What can we say? And we don't have a release date ourselves, so we're not able to really offer that. But what I will say is summer this year, I think we're looking. Not sure which month or day yet, but I think we're looking at summer this year. Those 9 songs will be out, and we're hoping to give some music videos. They will come out sporadically, but music videos and a lot of new content. It is a concept album, so I'll go quiet on social media, and then the next time anyone hears from me on social media, it'll be the new concept. So we've got some great ideas, so many great ideas that we're going to be putting out there. Yeah,
definitely. All right, guys, you hear that sound in my background? That means it is the first of the month, 12 o'clock exactly. So happy February. We are in 2020. Can you believe it? And I hope this is the year for a lot of dreams and goals accomplished. Go for it and kick ass in the process. Are you guys ready for more music? We have Daniel-Angelus with his song Reflection, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back again. What a wonderful song by Daniel-Angelus. It's called Reflection. Make sure you grab your copy of that. We'll provide links to his social media and websites in the description of this episode, so all you have to do is click those links. So are you feeling discouraged? You've been focused, you've been disciplined, you've made the effort day after day, month after month, year after year. You've given your best, then going back and giving even some more. Yet you're still not there. Some days the goal seems closer, and other days the goal seems further away than ever. How do you keep going? Indeed, why should you keep going? I'm going to tell you guys, because much of the value of your goal is not the attainment of it, but it's in the pursuit of it. Certainly the attainment is important, yet if the end result could be had without the effort, of what value would it be? You're striving towards a goal. Certainly results do count. Still, you've already reaped many of the benefits, even though the desired results is not yet within reach. Do you want to continue learning, growing, gaining strength, and enjoying the positive benefits of your focused, disciplined actions? Or do you want to give up after already investing so much? That's your choice, but either way, you're ahead of where you started. And when you continue on your sure and determined path, do whatever it takes. And guys, just think, one journey to a destination becomes easier and easier over time as you continue the same path, the same journey. So when you go to the next one or the next thing, you know the roadmap on how to get there, and it can even probably, find a few shortcuts along the way. Or the most important thing, you can teach someone else how to get there, right? That's what we're all here for, right? To gain and give. And the giving part is the most important. So when you continue on your sure and determined path, doing whatever it takes, you will eventually reach the desired destination. So keep going. Not so much because of where you'll end up, but because of what you'll make of yourself in the process. We are all on a journey to becoming who we are meant to be, right? I think so. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond. But for right now, let's bring back the man of the moment, Daniel. Welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you, man.
Most definitely. So before we part ways, let everyone know where they can connect with you online and where they can purchase music and watch performances and videos and all things Daniel.
Okay, this is the sellout bit. You can head to my website. It is daniel-angelus.com. It's daniel-angelus.com. Everything is on there, all the releases I've ever done. There's free music on there from SoundCloud, music videos, everything. Of course, head over to your favorite store and just type in Daniel Angelus, Angelus, and have a pick of the few records that are on there, have a little listen, see if anything is to your taste, and that's where you'll find future releases. On Facebook, I think it's facebook.com/daniel-angelus1, just the number 1. And on Twitter, it's Apex Winter, APEXWINTER. I am on Instagram, but honestly, I never use it. I'm terrible at social media. But of course, if you want to say hi to me, I always love it when people reach out and say hi and share their adventures with my music. That's why I'm on social media, probably, literally to let people know about the music and to hear that really positive stories that I get from people who experience the music. And of course, feel free to head over to YouTube and watch any of the music videos that we've created. We put a lot of passion and effort into the videos and try and get the ideas across. So again, I'm sure Daniel Angelus will help you there, and you'll find some live footage as well, I think. And I might have missed something there. I probably have, but yeah, go into the ether and find me. Basically, I'll be there.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being our special guest today. Yeah, very informative.
Thank you.
Information, man, and compelling stories.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been really a good pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.only1mediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.